Right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Hat and Beard Show, your nightly stop for NFL and Detroit Lions football information, news, podcast, whatever. Talking about things, the big thing we're talking about today. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey. Hey, oh. Hey, ho, hey, ho. Did the Lions dodge a Terrion Arnold-sized bullet as he agrees to a contract-ish with the Seattle Sea Chickens, only then to find himself put on the NFL's commissioner's exempt list. So, hey ho. We're then going to be taking a look at a bunch of just preseason information for the Lions, some position battles, some news, some observations from yesterday's night practice, right? And get a little hype about some things in the future of how it looks for your Detroit Lions. Some names are starting to pop off, right? You guys, we've been talking about you, the Keith Abney, right? He's a name who's popping. This rookie class might be pretty sick, dude. But we're going to look ahead, kind of some information about the preseason week 2 against the Commies, and then get hype about some offensive and defensive line play. You know what I'm saying? It's where men become boys. Oh, dude. Yeah, I'm James. It's the Hat and Beard Show. You're an attentive audience. Let's go ahead and get into the show.
If you can say the word good, guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, well, then hell, you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, and go out on the attack.
All right, shout out. What's going on, everybody? Hey, Raw, how you doing tonight, dude? Hopefully you're doing good up there in Canada. Rick's hanging out. Detroit Sports Dog and Mr. Detroit City are both here. What's up, fellas? My mom's here hanging out. Let's go, you guys. I guess OBS doesn't want to upload or go live to Kick or Rumble. Yeah, Rumble failed to connect to live stream. A big surprise there. Clinkety clank, clank, clank. The show must go on, and we proceed onward. Sea Chickens working out timing of the Terrion the Idiot Arnold signing amid cornerbacks legal situation. Kind of our big news from around the league. The Seattle Sea Chickens expected to sign Terrion Arnold is on hold. They're still in line to sign Arnold and have agreed to terms with the veteran corner. The team is working through logistics that are expected to take some time. The NFL is expected to place Arnold on its commissioner's exempt list once he signs with Seattle, which means he won't be able to practice or play while his legal process plays out. Personally, I am like, hey, take as long as you want, Florida. If this is the route he wants to go, make it long and expensive for him. He was released by Detroit, who selected him in the first round. We know all that. $1 million bond, old news. Old news, old hat, old news. Mike McDonald, Seattle Sea Chickens head coach, said it's an opportunity to bring in a player that they felt strongly about during the draft process. They also understand it's a serious situation with a legal matter. There's a process behind it, and then they're let that process play out and let the league decide if and when his return is to play is. We'll understand that it's at play, but there's also an opportunity to bring him in and give him an opportunity to earn a position here. No. No, he's not good. Unless you're like, yeah, we really like the pass interference penalties. Dude, you're so good at that. Bro, you're so good at putting your hands on wide receivers. Oh, we want some of that so bad. No, come on, man. Mike McDonald. Stupid. That's stupid. It's stupid. That's dumb. I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't like Terrion Arnold, and I don't like the Seattle Sea Chickens. Over here, though, Lions on SI, the Lions avoid crisis after NFL made the decision about Terrion Arnold. So just, put it into perspective here. Imagine where we'd be. We didn't cut TA, right? Imagine the nonsense, the circus in camp, just to have all of it be for naught. John Macaron over here at Lions on SI has a little article here for us. According to multiple reports, the NFL has made its decision to place Arnold on the commissioner's exempt list once he officially inks with the defending Super Bowl champions. One of the biggest question marks is the cornerback position for the Lions. Had Arnold remained with the team, they likely would have been without his services for a significant period of time. Just a big old waste. Just a big waste of everybody's time, everybody's resources, and everybody's money and a potential roster spot. Grandma wagon. We kept TA. And then we're like, oh, we're going to let her ride out. That takes practice reps. That takes developmental time away from a guy like Keith Abney, right? Who's possibly vying for the starting nickel cornerback spot. You guys, am I hearing that right? But back to over here, Arnold will be, if he is cleared, he's eventually going to compete for the Sea Chickens number 3 spot behind Devin Witherspoon and Josh Jobe. We already read this from Mike McDaniel. Dan Campbell told reporters this week he did not have any ill will toward the former Alabama Crimson Tide defensive back, despite the team making the decision to part ways with him. Very, very, very high move there, dude. No, there's certainly those things that come up. I mean, you're going to want to, and it's like we said, Terrion's a good dude. That's a very Dan Campbell quote right there. He's a good dude. Sure. Allegedly, I would have to disagree. I mean, based on the crimes he's allegedly connected to, I'd have to disagree with that statement, Dan Campbell. This is where you and I are going to have to disagree, Dan Campbell. I think this might be the first time. This is are we having our first fight? Dan Campbell, are we having our first fight? If you're having your first fight with Dan Campbell, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so that you can be notified every single time we go live. Or just do that for S's and G's, dude. S's and G's. How we feeling? Mad Hatter Nation. Oh, that's right. You have to be subscribed to the channel if you want to get into Mad Hatter Nation. Look at these elite fellows. These elite fellows and classy ladies in the chat. That's right. Yes, they're all very good. Yes, very highbrow, very high IQ. They are what some might call a bastion of sanity and an absolute sea of nonsense, but you must be subscribed to the channel if you want to have access to all of the good stuff over here at Mad Hatter Nation. TA was better than the narrative. Maybe, but I was never watching it. Terrion the Buttlicker Arnold, no playing. He cannot play in any games. He can't practice. Exactly. Feed him to the Gators. There you go, dude. I love it. Full pay. He will receive the entire weekly paycheck from the Sea Chickens. Well, they got money to spend, dude. Woodward Sports says that the Lions are finna miss Terrion Arnold, and that's going to be a mistake for cutting him. Ew, really? That is it's probably like someone like Maz, dude. I don't watch Woodward. I haven't watched any Woodward stuff in, unfortunately, like well over a year, dude. I don't know, man. They had so much change, and like I only like the heavyweights, and now I don't work second shift, so I don't even listen to the heavyweights. You know what I'm saying? But I do. Easy's my guy, dude. Easy's a good dude, bro. I like Easy, even though he sometimes has some wild ass takes, dude. You know. Sea Chicken tastes good. Hell yeah. What's up, Motown? How you doing, man? I'm on hearing TA has gotten a raw deal, and he is innocent as can be, but talent-wise, I think he is at cornerback. Criminal's gonna criminal for sure. Do you know how hard it is to get prove to the fact he knew almost impossible unless you're in his head or concrete proof. What I think and this is look, I'm gonna be honest. I don't spend too much time digging into the legal comings and goings of Terrion Arnold because I just don't care. I just like to point and laugh. Never really was that fond of him as a player to begin with. But I think what you're going to end up finding is that there is probably a pretty strong digital trail. I don't know, man. Uh, I guess it is kind of telling that maybe Seattle knows more than 31 other teams. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Seattle knows more, or maybe Seattle's just, being woke and listening to TA and being like, "No, man, you're just, the man's out to get you," and all that stuff. But I don't know, man. I just wouldn't want to deal with it. You know what I mean? I didn't think he was that good. Fucking tip of my nose is just. I didn't think he was that good of a player to warrant the chicanery nonsense and tomfoolery. Here in Detroit, I would much rather roll with a Keith Abney or roll with a Nick Whiteside. You know what I mean? I don't know. The fact that TA was never willing to just tape his hands into clubs, you know what I mean? That just says a lot about him, dude. I think plays another game in the NFL. Ooh, well, Mr. or Detroit Sports Talk. That is what I think you're really asking is, do I think is ever going to? Meaning, is he guilty? I don't know. Does it look like it? Yeah. I mean, I think it's pretty telling that 31 other teams were, willing to pass on him. Some worked him out, but then we're just like, nah. And then Roger Goodell is like, yeah, okay, you can sign with the team, but I'm not going to let you play. I think that's kind of telling. I don't know, man. They let players play for committing, like way worse crimes, dude. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Detroit City, that's hilarious, dude. Michael Vick, Kareem Hunt got placed on that list. That's true, dude. You're not wrong though. You're not wrong. Detroit Sports Talk, AP, Vick, and Kareem Hunt. Heavyweights are the reason I quit watching Woodward. They don't know ball for shit. Maybe not. I just thought they were fun. It was a vibe thing, man. I was at work listening to him just vibing. You know what I'm saying? Not putting his hands up people. Why not join the WWE and face John Cena? There you go. Subscriptions linked to TA. There you go, dude. Hell yeah. I think they're relying on circumstantial evidence, compile it on self to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt, and circumstantial evidence never holds in court. Well, we'll see, dude. We'll see. But, I mean, you also thought that Giovanni Manu was going to be a superstar this year. I'm just fucking with you, Raw. I'm just fucking with you. We'll see. I guess let me ask you guys this. Why do we care? Because I guess my thought process is like, if you're worried about TA's innocence, then you're saying that the Lions made a mistake. Like we're missing out on some like Deion Sanders level of like Revis Island, grab ass Terrion Arnold. Like I don't think that that's like where his ceiling was ever going to be, and I think he had enough game tape to show he was never going to be that guy, at least not here in Detroit. I don't think that we're really missing out on that opportunity. I think he's a basket case, personally. I think he's scrambled in the brain, dude. I think that entire 2024 draft class, not just for the Lions, but for the NFL at large, is just dog shit. It's just all dog shit. It'll go down as one of the worst drafts in NFL history. It's just trash. It's just all hot garbage, dude. It's all hot garbage. I couldn't care less. He was going to be lucky to be Rock's backup. Exactly, dude. Monsters of glowing gifts only. Dude, does anybody know what Manu did? Like what during the offseason he did? Whiteside gets his ass back. Rock will be Whiteside's backup. Hell yeah, dude. That's what I'm hoping for. PA penalties. There you go, dude. I'm glad he's not on the team. Agreed, Mom. Me too. No Detroit cut ties to avoid the media circus and let our guys focus on training camp. Oh, could be. Shit cornerback I've ever seen. Why did the Seahawks hire a locksmith to guard Terrion Arnold's playbook? Because he's going to be fantastic at absolute lockdown defense, but the coaches wanted to make sure nobody gets locked in a trunk again. Awesome, dude. I don't know, man. I just don't think he was that good, dude. You know what I'm saying? Kid's mother wouldn't have had a sentencing day. Hey, there you go, Rick. Yeah, there you go. All right, so let's go over here, dude. We got some training camp observations, dude. I'm trying to pace the show, like chat and show and stuff. So if we're kind of in articles and it's not like I'm like talking to the chat too much, it's because we're trying to pace this out a little bit here, bud. So Tim 2021 man over here at Lions.com has the day camp 14 day training camp day 14 observations. It's a defensive day. The Lions held an evening practice, conducting a mock scrimmage for the first team offense and second team defense, joining forces on a scoreboard against the first team defense and second team offense. I thought both defensive units were terrific on Monday. Between them, I charted 7 sacks, 3 interceptions, and a defensive touchdown on edge rusher Eric O'Neill's pick 6. He's gaining steam. Recorded that pick 6 when he got his hand on an attempted screen pass by Luke Altmaier. O'Neill also had a tackle for a loss and a quarterback hit in his preseason debut last Thursday. He's an undrafted rookie out of Rutgers. Has had a nice few days here and there and said after Monday's practice, it's all about continuing to stack good days on top of each other as he makes a big push for the 53-man roster or practice squad. I think Eric O'Neill has a little fire in him. It's fun. It's fun. But Trevor Nowitzki, it's fun. He's probably gonna be a practice squad guy. You might get elevated here or there. You might splash. I think you're a guy who has some skills. Given the right opportunity, you might be able to flourish, but I don't want to get down on you. That defensive end room you are fighting an absolute uphill battle, my guy. An absolute uphill battle, especially not only do we have, top end talent already in there at the starting spot, a superstar, but we might have another superstar in the making with the hammer, dude. You know what I'm saying? Have a day. Third-year cornerback Enos Rakestraw had a nice scrimmage Monday. Actually, I believe Detroit Sports Talk was kind of breaking this while he was there. Shout out Detroit Sports Talk. He was at scrimmage last night. Rakestraw recorded a tackle for a loss, an INT, and a pass breakup. He allowed a touchdown on wide receiver slant from Tom Kennedy, but St. Brown ran a good pick on him to help free Kennedy on a touchdown. A couple other good performances worth note. Linebacker Trevor Nowitzki. Hey, look at us. He had 2 sacks. And linebacker Devin White, 1 sack and multiple tackles. Yeah, this is going to be a problem. Devin White and Action Jack Campbell are about to be a problem for the NFC North and the NFL, as a whole. If Devin White, who has kind of been popping in practice, if Devin White is somewhere even in the stratosphere of his all-pro form, you pair that with the monstrous defensive line, what is projected to be, in my opinion, a tenacious defense all the way around. All-pro linebacker Action Jack Campbell calling the shots. Dude, you're looking at 300 tackles between the two of them easily, just like they had last year between the two of them. Now Devin White was in Vegas, but I kind of like this move, dude. I kind of like this Devin White move, dude. Sam Laporte had a touchdown on a 25-yard good misdirection bootleg play. The other touchdown catch came from Lucky Jackson from Luke Altmaier. Opportunity for Abney. Y'all, did I not tell you you needed to pay attention to Keith Abney? I told you guys, I was like, this Keith Abney fella. Oh, this Keith Abney fella. I realize that I keep using the phrase is going to be a problem, but with the rookies especially, there's no real proof, but this Keith Abney guy might be a big problem for opposing offenses. 5th-round pick Keith Abney has started taking first-team reps at the nickel cornerback the last few days. I repeat, Keith Abney, our 5th-round pick, is taking first-team reps at the nickel cornerback slot. I told you guys this dude had some fire in him. I told you guys he had a little bit of sizzle on the tape, dude. He's got a little sizzle to go along with some wiggle. He was good in his preseason debut, had a couple of nice plays in coverage Monday. One against St. Brown on a 3rd and 5 to force an incompletion and a punt. He's in a battle with McCreary and Christian Izzy Eisen look to be in a pretty good battle for the nickel role. Now, personally, look, if it were me, if you guys want my honest opinion and we had to start the season right now, simply because of the veteran presence, and I think he's just a little bit more of a steady presence on top. No, I know I realize veteran and steady presence are about the same thing. But knowing how the Lions tend to be a little bit more lenient on rookies, if it was week one, do I think Abney starts week one? Probably not if it were right now. I think McCreary kind of just comes in there and sits in that spot for a few weeks or until he gets burned really bad, and then you just roll with Abney. The thing is here's the thing. Here's the thing, guy. There is no putting that toothpaste back in the tube. Once you unleash Keith Abney in the Lions defense on the NFL, it's game over for opposing offenses, dude. He's going to be a lockdown nickel corner. Vaki had some good plays, dude. A couple of nice little cuts here or there as he made his return after 12 days back. Calvin Shepard and St. Brown chirp back and forth. Good for them. Dan Campbell got to play a referee, but also was talked about with the new NFL rule where an assistant coach can throw the challenge flag. Dan Campbell says, look, man, the buck stops with me. I'm answering the question, so why would I give it to somebody else for me to answer for somebody else? That's what I'm talking about, taking ownership right on his big Dan Campbell chin. It all comes to me anyway, so yeah, that's it. He ain't giving up the red flag. It's mine. He says, it's mine. I do this. I'm the captain of this ship. I answer the calls. You're not going to answer for anybody. The best drive of the day was the first-team offense. Late in scrimmage and quarterback JG16 for MVP led a 14-play drive from the 29-yard line to about the 6. The offense picked up a couple third and longs on catches by wide receiver Isaac Tesla. Well, let's see it in game. And running back Jameer Gibbs, but eventually had to settle for a short field goal after stalling inside the 10. Can't have that. Can't be having that type of nonsense happening in our new shiny offense. Can't be stalling out in the red zone there, especially in the plus 10 territory, dude. So as we get ready, though, for the Washington Commies, the Lions do need to start batting around the idea, and Dan Campbell did said there will be some starters. I think he said significant starters, or starters. Some starters will get significant playing time, something along those lines, against the Commies on Saturday. And over here at SI, Christian Boer, SI.com/Lions. 6 starters who must play in Lions preseason game against the Commanders. Skimmed it. Some yes, some no. Let's take a little look here. Hit the like button if you haven't already, my guy. Could use a little boop doopity doop in the algorithm, my friend. So over here we got Jared Goff. The Lions can't afford to lose Goff, as he's the MVP on their roster given his position. However, I do think there is something to be gained by playing him. The Lions have a new OC, Drew Petzing, and last year the Lions debuted new OC, John Morton, and the team didn't play any of its starters in the preseason. And this could be tied to the sluggish start they got off to in Week 1's loss to the Green Bay Packers. I do kind of think that they might be related, but the majority is that John Morton sucks at being an offensive coordinator. He couldn't call his way out of a potato sack, dude. Blake Miller made his debut last week against the Bumbles and did so to mostly positive reviews. It wasn't all pretty for the rookie, but by and large, he had a solid first showing after the Lions drafted him in the first round. I believe Miller would benefit from getting more action against the Commies' defense. I do agree. You're playing a much better defense than you've seen against Cincinnati. He'll be in a competition for the starting job against Larry Borum and needs to cement his status as the opening day starter. Let's go, dude. He also needs to log as many reps as possible in order to hit the ground running. I agree with that. By going this process once again, the new opponent, Miller, will be able to bank even more valuable action ahead of his official debut. Yes, though I don't think as many reps as last week might be required. A few here or there, mostly because you got to get the chemistry with this guy right here, Dater Ratledge. He worked at center. We know that. Miller did not play next to Ratledge last week, and the home environment could be beneficial for the pairing to get some work together. It won't be as loud as a regular season road game, so they can hone their communication in this environment. While it might not be a substantial amount of work, Ratledge with Miller would do wonders for the Lions' offensive line success. I agree with that. I completely agree with that. Dan Campbell already said last week that Ratledge was projected to get some reps here in preseason week 2 against the Commies. Again, it's that hit the ground running. Ratledge and Miller. Yes, Ratledge is no longer a rookie, but having more built-in chemistry as much as you can between those two, built-in communication, and understanding of what each of them are going to do, you can go into week 1 being week 3 ready. Does that make sense? Already having those reps, already having that game speed action with one another. Yeah, I'm going to be real, guys. It's probably not going to be the sexiest debut. Blake Miller is a rookie. He will play like a rookie at some point week 1 of the regular season. That's just how it's going to have happen. Tate Ratledge did the same thing last year, but ultimately finished on a high note. Do I expect a better ascension by Blake Miller this year versus Tate Ratledge in year 1? Yes, I do. But they're two different players playing two different positions. I would like to see both of them getting some reps in the preseason right next to one another, showing how absolutely destructive that right side of the line is. Like, it's going to be ridiculous having Penne holding that left side down effectively by himself until Mormon Oaks can prove that he can do anything other than get hurt and not be ready for training camp. But that right side, I think, is going to be paving the way for some nice cutback lanes for Jahmyr Gibbs, dude. I think that they're built for some nice zone run scheme blocking. I think they're built for mauling on the right-hand side. I think we have two just absolutely destructive bulldozers over there now with Blake Miller and Tater Ratledge. And the sooner we can get them honed in with one another, the better. Sam Laporta, strangely enough, this is a player that me and old boy at work were just talking about when we were discussing the starters, who would be out there, what could we expect. I brought up Sam Laporta. Do I think Laporta needs to showcase what he can do? Absolutely not. Is it 100% related to getting him up, back to, and ready to go for game speed post back injury surgery? Yes, 100%. I want to make sure that all boxes are checked. Plumb, level, square, ready to rock and roll. Sam Laporta, week 1, roll out there, 6 catches, 80 yards, a couple tuggery doos. He's coming off a back injury. Like Goff, it doesn't have to be a significant workload, but simply going through the process of playing could be beneficial for Laporta. Yeah, a drive, maybe a drive and a half. Tyleek Williams, like Miller, Williams is a young player who will benefit from getting all the reps he can. The Lions are going to be relying on him to have a massive role in 26 after playing modest snaps as a rookie. He does need his exposure to game settings to boost that development. I am in agreement with this simply because of the reduced workload that he had last year. I just want to make sure, again, plumb, level, square, ready to rock and roll. All the rust is off, and you are at game speed come week 1. Think of it this way, guys. We have been polishing and being ready to go. The team has been locked in since the draft. Okay, I told y'all that interview, Roy Woodard or something like that, had with Amon-Ra at the draft process. Like, Amon-Ra's locked in. The team's locked in. We are weeks ahead of everybody else. By that metric, I want us to be week 4, week 5 ready at polish come week 1. Does that make sense? Honed in, ready to rock and roll. That machine is tuned up and moving, dude. The more polish we can have, the better. Rock Yassin, I'm not so sold on him getting some reps. I think we know what we're getting out of Rock Yassin. Does he want to come in and lock down that number 2 spot? Get a few good high-quality reps in there, showcase that, look, just because we're all high and heavy and getting hyped up on Nick Whiteside is here. Rock Yassin comes in and shows, I am actually here. This is why I am the starter opposite DJ Reed. Or, maybe he's not as good as Nick Whiteside. Maybe we're looking at a monumentous leap for Nick Whiteside in his career. And I'm here for it. I'm rooting for the guy. But yeah, I guess I could understand where you're coming from with the Rock Yassin play. I'm just not. I think we know what you got in him, and if you're confident in what you know you're going to get out of the guy, I mean, he's a 7-year veteran. I think at this point, 6 or 7-year pro. You know what you're going to get on him. Same with like a DJ Reed type. Same with a Jack Campbell, even though Jack Campbell's only 5th year pro. You know what you're getting out of these guys. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Rocky Scene's not flashy. He's not a superstar, but he's been around the block before. You know what I'm saying? How we doing, chat, before we get into these last 2 fluff articles? Rock is a CB2. Yep, I agree. I'm getting a message from my muscles right now. That's all I know. A massage from my muscles. Hell yeah, dude. That's what's up, bro. Might as well call me cornerback 1 if you're trying to run as cornerback 1. Lions need a legit one. That's true, dude. Rock is depth at best. Injury history. All right, that's fair. Yeah, I hope. It's nothing against Rock Yassin. I'm rooting for Whiteside to beat him out for that number 2 spot. Just because I like the gritty nature of Nick Whiteside, dude. That story of the you know me, guy. You know me, and if you don't know me, make sure that you like the video and subscribe so that you can get to know me. I'm always rooting for them UFL cats, dude. You know what I'm saying? 40 total starts across stints with leading Colts, Vegas, and San Francisco. Yeah, dude. Yep. Sorry, the season of the teams. Only 40 starts though. Huh? I thought it was a little bit more than that because he's been around for quite a bit. Racing has made numerous starts outside. Yeah, I would say he's because I think he was like a high 2nd round pick a few years back. I think something like that is the name kind of pops. So to kind of counter act what we talked about in the last article over here at heavy.com, and NFL analyst declares the Lions starting position battle over already. Probably. I'm going to be honest. The hype is real. The play we seen preseason week 1 was fantastic. I want to see it again preseason week 2. Let's get into who we talking about. I think you know who we're talking about. Balake Miller. All indications are pointing towards Blake Miller beating out Larry Borum for the starting spot. Bleacher Report noted that the preseason debut of Miller was any indication of how the competition has gone. You can give that spot to Miller already. Quote, Borum likely won't be needed to do so barring an injury. However, as Miller has been a standout throughout training camp and likely solidified a starting right tackle role during Detroit's preseason opener, wrote Alex K from Bleacher Report. He played 24 pass blocking snaps without any sacks or penalties. Could have been flagged for holding on a few, though. My guy, got to get those hands inside the frame, dude. The team appears to be in good hands with Miller, locking down the right tackle position for the foreseeable future, wrote K. While head coach Dan Campbell has not said it bluntly as K, he has pointed to Miller as one to hold down the job. Before pads came on, Campbell was already hinting that Miller had hold of the job. My gut tells me that Blake's going to continue to grow, but we'll see. He did just that and earned the starting job in the preseason. However, Campbell did make it clear that they needed to see him to continue to progress. Boy, didn't I just say that? Hot dog, dude. That feels very accurate. While Campbell did not heap praise on Miller, he did make it clear that he was satisfied with his debut in the preseason. Quote, I didn't feel like my eyes were ever on he or Larry, and that's a positive. I thought that means that's a pretty good sign. If I don't have to worry, similar to how A to Z Sports has been saying, hey, I haven't been talking about Tate Ratledge because he hasn't been doing anything wrong. Just coming in, doing their job. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about you. If I don't have to worry about you, if you're just out here doing your job and I don't have to worry about you, whoo, making my job as a coach easy. I can do other things. I can worry about ifs, thens, and buts and just tell you to go out there and block this cat. And you're like, yes, sir. My name's Blake Miller, and I play football. Let's go, dude. Had Miller struggled, he would have been easy to identify. Campbell made it clear that that was not the case. So while he has not come out and said it, there have not been enough reasons to hold Miller back, and he will likely start in week 1. Let's go, dude. Let's go. Just goes on to talk about Blake Miller and all of his college games that he played and how Larry Borum had 11 starts for the Dolphins last year. And what the projection was for Larry Borum. But it's not going to happen, dude. He's just going to, Blake Miller's just too good. He's just too good. He's just too good. He's just too good, and I told you he was the play from the jump. I told you guys from the jump he was the pick. Everyone was like, Caden Proctor, Dr. Big Bum. And I was like, nope, not Dr. Big Bum. Balake Miller. Balake Miller has 54 starts. Balake Miller is good. He's a good player. He is a franchise right tackle is what he is, dude. And he is a perfect fit for what we do here in the Motor City, both mentally and physically, dude. He is a Dane Campbellian guy. He's a Brad Holmes guy. He's a Motor City guy. He's a blue-collar guy. He's my kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? Hit the like button if you agree with me, dude. There's 21 of you watching right now. Wow. That's a pretty good number. If y'all want to hit that subscribe button, that'd be the cat's pajamas, dude. We could use a little algorithmic bump, dude. A little stagnation in the growth, dude. We're trying to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark, dude. And the only way to do it is if you subscribe to the channel. You know what I mean? It's a way to help out here, guy. All right, we're going to finish up here with a little fluffery-duffery-doo talking about Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan U. Hey, look at me rhyming, dude. I'm on a roll, dude. Call me butter because I'm on a roll. Man, we got 2 articles today from Tim 20-Man, dude. What can you say? Hey, I like Tim 20-Man. You know what I'm saying? There's a phrase that's developed out there in the practice field at the Meyer Performance Center known as the Hutch Rule. The reason I wanted to talk about this article was I do got to give props to, again, Detroit Sports Talk. He was literally talking about it in the chat while he was at the practice last night saying, looks like the Hutch Rule's coming back. Hutch is a machine. Hutch is out here crushing it, dude. I'm like, dude. Hutch is going to be a problem. 26 sacks this year. He's getting 26, dude. He's getting 26 sacks in the Big 2-6, dude. That's what's going to happen. All-pro edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson has looked terrific in camp. It's probably the best camp he's had since joining the league since 2022. That's a problem. That's gonna be a problem. I told you guys, 26 sacks in the Big 2-6. He wins a lot of rushes in team periods, from both sides of the line, and Hutch Rule was developed to let the offense finish a rep and quarterback Jared Goff finish a throw, despite Hutchinson having what would be a clear sack on the play if he was allowed to contact the quarterback. The former number 2 pick in 2022 posted career best 14.5 sacks, 54 tackles, 14 tackles for losses, 35 quarterback hits. He led second career Pro Bowl. He led the NFL with 100 pressures. Wow, dude. Look, I'm not taking away from the sack number. That is a lot of pressures, dude. That is a lot of pressures. But if we could just, get like 10% of those into sacks, which might happen. I mean, it will have to happen this year for me to get the 26 sacks, but I do think we can convert those 100 pressures into sacks. I mean, easily sprinkle those across 3 other defenders. I mean, hell, just give 10. Take those 10, split 5 and 5 between Big Beef and Tyler and Aleem, dude. Let's go, dude. Let's go. He's good on every snap, Goff said to Hutchinson. He's good in the run game. He's good in the pass game. We have the best tackle in football on the left side, and Hutchinson gives him a run for his money every day. Yes, Jared Goff. Preach. Jared Goff is right. We do have the best left tackle in football. We have one of the best players. I might say we have the best player in football at the left tackle spot, and that is Penei Sewell. I know they challenge each other, and it's fun watching those compete, seeing the level they are both and continue to go. It really is fun. But Hutch is a game wrecker, and I'm glad he's on our team. Campbell couldn't agree more. He's a pain, man. He's definitely a pain. But I'm glad he's our pain. Boy, so am I, dude. So am I. Oh, here we go, sorting out the nickel roll. Lions are still rotating the nickel roll from the first team defense to attempt to find out what they'll fit. Abney and Roger McCurry and Eisen are rotating into the role. Abney getting a lot of first team reps over the last few practices. That's what we like to see, dude. We could potentially see multiple players in that role depending on the situation come the regular season. Didn't I say that? Did I not say that the whole roster development on defense? I said this during the offseason. I was like, The whole construction of our defensive roster is all about deployment for situational football by a game-by-game, hella half-by-half script, dude. You have varying defenders that have varying skill sets that they all can apply for varying situations, dude. You have a bunch of different guys that can play in varying different locations and spots. Depending on the nature of the game and what it calls for, you can deploy out a player that fits your need, dude. I've been telling you, that's what we've been after for years in Detroit. Is our defense is what I call Swiss Army knife defense, dude. We need different players that can do different things at different positions, and that's exactly what we have happening right now, specifically at the nickel spot, dude. We got a bunch of guys that can play it. Whoever wins is going to be the absolute best, and I think it's going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight, dude. I really do. I think when you look at obviously going into training camp, the big battle was that right tackle spot, Larry Borum versus Blake Miller. Who's going to win that out? Balake seems to be running away with that, and justifiably so. He's a freak out there, dude, right? So we have to turn our attention. Okay, you could look at wide receiver 5. That's not fun, you know what I mean? Depth behind the cornerback spot. That's not fun. Defensive end. All right, well, we see some guys kind of separating, you know what I mean? Moving up. Hassanin, you know what I mean? Obviously, I'm looking to see big things out of the developmental pieces on the defensive end room week 2 here. But all of a sudden, what was, and I'm guilty of it, I talked about it all offseason. I was like, Roger McCreary has a chance to be potentially a Pro Bowl caliber slot defender right here in the Motor City, dude. Filling in, taking that Amik Robertson role. You kind of thought he'd be a 1-to-1 replacement, dude. But all of a sudden, hey, Keith Abney starts making a little splash, dude. Eisen over here making a little bit of splash, dude. You might be looking at all of a sudden the best position battle for the duration of training camp, obviously barring injury, is going to be that nickel corner spot, dude. I think it's going to be an absolute dogfight to the bitter end. And I would love it if Keith Abney ends up coming out the other end as your starter, dude. I'd love it. Do I think he has the most upside? Yes, but he also has the most to prove. The other guys have veteran presence. They have tape. We brought him in for a reason, dude. You know what I'm saying? Let's take pressure off a guy like a Keith Abney. But if he comes out and he is just tenacious, ferocious, unstoppable, let's go, dude. Let's go. Or you do the Swiss Army style. Situational deployment, baby. You got problems. Kelvin Shepard's got answers. Don't you worry about a thing. He's going to be a head coach of a team next year after we have a top 5 defense. Let's go. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Ring that notification bell, you guys. Hopefully you have a good rest of your evening. We're going to take one last stroll here through Mad Hatter Nation. He did. I was injury prone and never earned a full-time starting job. That's what I thought it was, dude. I thought he was kind of banged up, dude. I thought Rocky Scene kind of had that good, not great. Availability needs to be your best ability, dude. But, he's kind of been able to string a few years together here. Camera's out of focus. Come on, camera. Get into focus. How long have we been blurry, guy? Come on, guy. Come on, guy. All right, now we just got to do it the hard way, huh? Just got to do it the hard way. Here we go. There we go. There we go. Got to do all this just for the end of the show. Just because I care about you, guy. Just because I care about you, guy. But that is going to be it for the end of the show. Obviously, preseason, not as much to talk about. We'll probably be hitting the full hour, though. Come the regular season, Cat's doing some weird stuff, dude. That's just all. I didn't realize he was in here this whole time. Have yourself a good rest of the night. Stay out of trouble. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, you guys. Make sure that notification bell's turned on so you know when we go live tomorrow at 7 p.m. Until then, I'm James with the Hat and Beard Show. You've been an attentive audience. We'll catch you next time. Bonga bonga. Frig off, dude.